What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to NFL Turf Talk live here on DSM Media's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter channels. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you head on over to @DSM_media on Twitter. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. And while you're on the page, make sure to check out the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we are available on. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter @DylanJD98. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. You can find him on Twitter as well, @ScottyDrown. And if you guys want to be interactive throughout tonight's show or any of the shows we have running here on DSM Media, make sure you head on over to the YouTube channel specifically. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications for any time one of our great shows go live. But it is the best place to get your thoughts, comments, questions all pulled up on the screen with us. Scotty, what is going on, man? How was your wild card weekend?
It was pretty wild. Had a good time. Obviously, I said on Saturday I was having some friends over, so we had a good time watching the games. Yeah, a few surprises, I guess you could say. Maybe not surprises for us on here, given the picks that were made, but a couple close calls, right? I think those are from yesterday, especially. Saturday, obviously, what took place in the evening game, that was just insane. But overall, a pretty cool wild card weekend so far, I would say. Pretty entertaining.
Yeah, not bad, man. So the divisional round is looking almost set. We have one more game tonight, which is basically going to be the entirety of this show. We're going to be breaking down this Bucs Cowboys matchup, giving our best bets and all that good fun stuff. But to just give a quick glimpse, Scotty and I will be live Wednesday to break down the weekend in its entirety. But so far, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars over the LA Chargers. You have the San Francisco 49ers pulling away from Seattle in the second half to control that game. You had the Cincinnati Bengals squeak out one late last night on Sunday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. The New York Giants take care of business. Everyone's upset of the week, right, man? Your upset of the week ends up hitting. That's who our Eagles will end up facing. And then at 1 o'clock yesterday, you had the Buffalo Bills squeak by Skylar Thompson and the Miami Dolphins. So like I said, we'll be breaking down and analyzing all those games on Wednesday. But tonight is all about this Bucs Cowboys matchup because I got to tell you, man, even though this means less from an Eagles fan standpoint, right? Because if the Vikings would have won yesterday afternoon, we would be watching this game intensely. We get the winner of this one, right? Now, not so much. We get the Giants. This one goes on to play San Francisco. But still, you look at it just from a pure football fan perspective. You have the greatest of all time, undefeated, 7-0 against this Dallas Cowboys team. Cowboys coming in on a major lull right now after their performance against the Washington Commanders last week. Dak Prescott, the entire defense. So I'm just interested to see kind of who potentially could the Eagles get in the NFC Championship, and then just to watch this game unfold tonight. What matchups, what side of the ball are you really paying attention to tonight when you look at Brady, Dak, all the skill position guys, the defenses?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because there's a few interesting pieces to this game. Obviously, the struggles of the Dallas Cowboys of late, they obviously start with Dak Prescott, right? Turning the ball over, all the issues he's had with that. He's turned the ball over in 7 straight games with an interception. Obviously coming off probably one of his worst, if not his worst, career game against that Washington Commanders team in that final week of the season. 14 for 27, 128 yards, a touchdown. He threw a pick six, a 45.8 quarterback rating. So all across the board, terrible play, right? And then on top of that, the Dallas offense has struggled to run the football as well. In 2 consecutive games in this season, they weren't able to get up over 100 rushing yards, which is the first time that's happened all season. So their offensive line, they're not getting the push. They're not getting, the yards per carry with Pollard and Zeke that they were seeing early on. That being said, it's the playoffs. Everything resets here, right? So maybe last week was vanilla playbook, similar to what we saw in a lot of the games across the slate. Or maybe this is the Cowboys, right? And I think that's what makes this game interesting is because everything points to the Cowboys winning this game. Like the Cowboys, they're 3-point favorites in the game, rightfully so, I would say, if you look at it from a talent standpoint. The Cowboys have the better team. They have the better defense, the more talented defense. They've been the better team this season, right? And they have one of the better offenses in the NFL when they're not turning the ball over. So it's interesting for that reason, because why are so many people going to the other side with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after the season that they've had? They're 8-9, right? They're below 500 on the season. And it's because it's the GOAT. It's because it's Tom Brady. It's because the Cowboys cowboy, right? They do this. Similar to what we saw and what everybody was expecting from the Vikings yesterday is how I feel about this game tonight with the Cowboys, because just like the Vikings, and we can maybe have an argument on the next show if the Cowboys go on to lose this game, which one of these guys are the low the significant choke jobs, because they both do it on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of wild to watch it all play out. And the Cowboys catch so much heat, but I feel like the Vikings they honestly, yeah, they do. They deserve a lot more of that heat compared to the Cowboys. But nonetheless, that's why this is interesting, because you look at the line, it's only 3 points, right? The Dallas Cowboys, they're a 12-5 team going against a team that's below 500, but that team below 500 has the GOAT, one of the best quarterbacks, if not one of the best quarterback of all time on their side of the ball. So I think that's what makes this interesting, man.
This one is so intriguing to me and so fun to me. And here's why. Like I said, we're both Eagles fans. So to watch the demise and the collapse that this rival just puts on display every postseason, right? Or every late regular season has been a thing of beauty to watch in my 20 plus years of being a football fan. We'll get Scotty right back in here when he's all good. But this one's interesting to me for so many reasons. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I've been down on all season, like I was down on the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, I've been down on Tom Brady and the Bucs all year. Even though they squeaked out their division title at the end of the season, even though they won a handful of their games down the stretch, it took you overtime to beat Trace McSorley and the Arizona Cardinals. It took you to come back from down 11, 21-10 at home in the fourth quarter against the Carolina Panthers in week 17, in which you could clinch your division title, right? So they have not looked impressive even when they put together a couple of wins. If this was any other opponent, I would be picking against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight. If this was anybody else in the NFC playoff picture right now, I would be picking against the Buccaneers, but it's not. And Scotty asked a very important question. Why does it feel like, although the Cowboys are spread point favorites, although they have the younger, more talented team, they have the better defense, they have the more potent offense, why is it that that it just feels like the momentum swinging in Tampa Bay's favor? Because what can go wrong will go wrong for this organization. It never fails. You have the $160 million quarterback who honestly has been the person. I know since he's come back from injury, Scotty, they're averaging 34, 35 points per game. He led the league in interceptions and he missed 5 games. I feel like there's such a bad aura around this Cowboys organization at the moment. You have the question marks about the head coach. Will Mike McCarthy be back next year? Are they looking to bring in Sean Payton? If he loses, will that solidify that Jerry Jones will be moving on from him? Dan Quinn, their defensive coordinator, right? The bright spot on the coaching staff, has a head coaching interview this week, right? So there's question marks there. There's question marks about the quarterback. You got the young defensive player of the year candidate linebacker who's just making a lot of noise off the field, right? Yeah. That's what this comes down to. And to me, I sit back and I say, oh, how bad I've been down on Tom Brady and this Bucs team all year. That quarterback who is 7-0 against this fraud organization at home is not going out like this, man. I've tried to picture every possible outcome tonight, and I've yet to come to the conclusion that Dallas advances. I cannot see it, and maybe that's my fandom. Maybe that's the haterade coming out, right? I cannot see an outcome in which Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys team is going to walk into Tampa Bay. They're going to turn him over. Dak's not going to turn the ball over. They're going to get after Tom Brady with Ryan Jensen back. I don't see it, man. I really don't. And if I have to give it to, if I have to tell you why schematically. Scotty, I think he picks them apart tonight. Now, I said this while you were gone. You know how down and bad we've been on Tom Brady this season and this Bucs offense.
Yeah.
They don't run the ball. They don't run it well. He's throwing the ball 50-plus times a game. It's not working. I look at man-to-man, which Dan Quinn's going to run a ton of tonight, and I look at Mike Evans, and I look at Chris Godwin, and I look at the GOAT, and all I see is quick hitters up and down the football field, and Tampa Bay is going to score 28+ tonight. That's the only outcome I keep seeing. I
wouldn't say that you're wrong. I would say that there's one there. So yeah, I guess I would say you're wrong. There's one outcome where you are wrong in this instance, and the Cowboys end up winning this game. And that's if everything that we've been feeling this season about Tom Brady is true, and it's time to hang up those cleats, right? Like that is the way that if Tom Brady comes out and stinks it up tonight, turns the ball over, similar to what we expect Dak Prescott to do, then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, right? If Tom Brady comes out and looks like Tom Brady and he's actually getting the ball where it needs to go tonight, if he has time back there in the pocket with Ryan Jensen back, I think that's honestly huge. Just getting that back. It's kind of like what we talk about with Lane Johnson, or if we were ever to lose Jason Kelce in the middle of that offensive line. It's a comfortability thing, and it's about having your best linemen there. It's not even about them playing their best. It's about them being there for the confidence of your quarterback, the confidence of your offensive coordinator, the guys that are calling the plays. So I think that's huge. But that would ultimately be the way. If Tom Brady comes out tonight, shows signs of him totally being over the cliff, as he showed signs throughout this season, right? But then we've seen the other signs, like 2 weeks ago when they had to clinch against Carolina, right? Playoffs on the line. So Tom Brady and Mike Evans light it up. Yeah, I missed that part thanks to my wonky computer. But
no, you're good, man. But I'm glad what your rebuttal was, because it's a little bit of what I hinted at while your laptop froze. So it's not so much that I think Tom and Tampa is about to go on this run and he's going to turn the clock back. I'm with you. I think what we saw from Tom Brady this year is what you're going to get moving forward. Not tonight, and it's because of the opponent. And I said this while you were gone. Yeah, if they were playing anybody else in the NFC playoff picture right now, I would be picking against the Bucs tonight. I think they have struggles offensively. I think he's been turning the football over too much. Their defense has been a little shaky.
Yeah.
Why did it take you overtime to beat Trace McSorley and the Arizona Cardinals? Why were you down 21-10 at home against the Carolina Panthers in the fourth quarter when you had a chance to clinch your division? Right? It's just the opponent. And it just sets up so beautifully. Dude, I have no faith in them. I think Mike McCarthy's got one foot in the door, 1 foot out. Hell, I think Dan Quinn might have 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. And I think the quarterback turns the ball over tonight. Bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, part of it, I know the Cowboys are getting their center back tonight, which, that'll certainly help them put guys back in their normal spots. But the biggest thing for me is that Cowboys secondary is still missing 2 of their top 3 corners, right? Trayvon Diggs is the guy there. They obviously had the rookie Bland. He's actually filled in decently well. He leads the team in interceptions for him. But still, they're beat up back there, right? All it takes is one tweak, and now you're down to your 5th, 6th cornerback on the roster. So that is where I'm worried for the Cowboys as well. Similar to what you pointed to about Tom Brady, kind of just picking those guys apart tonight. But then on the other side, the Bucs secondary is getting healthy. They're getting starters back. I know guys may not come back and play up to their starting ability right from the jump, but it's still, once again, a vote of confidence for this unit to play together. And I'm with you. And, you can take it a step further. I know a lot of it sounds like Dak bashing as well. It's like, we're waiting for Dak to throw this game away.
It's just a lack of trust, man. It's a lack of faith.
It's not just Dak. It's the whole organization. It all comes in and flows in and out together. It's not only Dak. It's the coaching staff. It's Mike McCarthy. It's Kellen Moore, right? These guys that at times lose themselves in the coaching scheme, right? When the Cowboys what should they do tonight? They should come out and run the ball at least 50-50, right? Maybe 60-40. But no, they'll come out on national television, Monday Night Football in Tampa Bay, and they have to put Dak out there and let him use that arm and put the stars out for Cowboys, right? It's always about ratings for them, it feels like, because they're going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times tonight for no reason. They should run the football, keep themselves balanced, but they won't do that. And they'll put Dak in a really hard position. And that's the other side of things here. It's, the offensive line has struggled, the play calling, they lose faith in the run very quickly, and then they turn to Dak. But then on the other side, the receivers aren't as good for Dak. You can talk about T.Y. Hilton all you want, man. That dude is a guy that he can run a go route. Good for him.
He's a shell.
He beat us on the 3rd and 30.
Right,
I get it, right? That's not winning you playoff games. T.Y. Hilton is not winning you playoff games. And that's the difference with Dak this season. I think you see all the interceptions. These guys can't get space, right? They can't get separation aside from CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot that, like I said at the beginning, schematically, a lot of it points to Dallas being the better team. But really, are they the better team right now as these teams are playing?
So
I don't know.
Basing off of what you just said, are you more concerned about Dallas's offense or their defense tonight against Tampa Bay? Because I'm focused on the defensive side for Dallas tonight, and I know it sounds nuts because
that's the key.
It's been the more consistent piece of their team this year. Tom and the offense have struggled mightily to score touchdowns and take care of the football, but everything you laid out, being down to your fourth corner, right, across from Trayvon Diggs, the single high safety man up on the outside against these wide receivers. What's the strength of this Cowboys defense? The pass rush. Who gets the ball out quicker than anyone ever has in the game? Yeah. The GOAT, Tom Brady, who has 2 excellent receiving running backs out of the backfield that they're going to utilize. Tampa Bay with Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White tonight, right? So I look at this matchup again. If it was anybody else, I would probably pick against Tampa Bay tonight. Mike Evans on Trayvon Diggs, favor Mike Evans all night long. Chris Godwin on a number 3 or 4, Chris Godwin all night long. The pass catching running backs, Tom getting the ball out quick. I'm not so worried about the Dallas's offense. Now, I agree with every point you made. Kellen Moore loves to get ahead of himself. Go back to the Jacksonville game. Third down, what does Kellen Moore do? Or fourth down, what does Kellen Moore do? Throw a go route to Noah Brown, right? Sent 4 seams, right? So he loves to get ahead of himself. They won't run the ball the way they're supposed to. Dak, I think, will turn the ball over. I still think Dallas is going to score 24 to 27 type points tonight.
That's fair.
I just think Tampa scores around 30. And I think that's too much for Dallas tonight.
Yeah, and to answer your question, am I more worried about Dallas's offense or their defense? I wouldn't say it's one or the other. It's kind of what you just displayed there with what you said. All of it feeds into each other, right? The defense playing bad is going to force the Dallas Cowboys to have to throw the ball. So in turn, that may worry me if I think Dak is going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times tonight. That in turn is going to worry me as well. But I would say the defense for Dallas is the worry, because that's kind of been the strong point, right? Like throughout the season, especially in that first half when they were winning games without Dak Prescott, it was that pass rush. They were getting after the quarterback, and it just has not been the same down the stretch. There was a couple games span there where they went without any sacks. I mean, it just has not been the same. You've seen Michael Parsons have to take downs off, right? Getting too beat up,
right?
Playing too much out there. So there's a lot of different things going on with this Cowboys team, and there's a lot of pressure as well. It's not just the injuries on the offensive line or the injuries to the secondary. It is the pressure of the reputation on your back. You see some of these defensive players. Dan Quinn had to address the fact that they haven't won an away playoff game since 1992. Like these are the things that are on their back, that they're trying to break these streaks and these trends. So their fan base tends let alone exactly. And that's the other side of it. Their fans put the most pressure on them because they talk. I'm not even going to go there. They put the most pressure on their team.
So,
but I'm with you, man. There's so much pressure on them tonight. It would take a Tom Brady. I feel like three
I agree.
interceptions or 3 to 4 turnovers
Yeah.
for the Buccaneers to lose this
And
game.
and
Honestly,
it
that's how I'm
shouldn't be
feeling.
that way, right? Like
It shouldn't.
you're talking about a Tampa Bay team that has the greatest quarterback of all time. They're home. That like they came into the season with Super Bowl aspirations as well. Yes, they've underperformed, but you would think that the team with the GOAT quarterback that won their division that's home tonight would be the team under more pressure. Is Tom going to come back? Is Tom running out of time? All those storylines.
Yeah.
I don't hear a peep about it. I hear what if Dallas loses tonight? Where's Dan Quinn go? Is Mike McCarthy fired? What do they do with Dak Prescott? Right? Because at what point does that become more of a trend, right? That you got to, what do you do with Ezekiel Elliott, right? Is CeeDee Lamb at number one? So I look at all these things and pressure burst pipes, man.
Exactly.
And I I really don't know what else to kind of say about this game. I can't, there's no more I can break down X's and O's wise to say why I feel this way. Maybe it's the Eagle fan of me. Maybe I'm being a hater. But I guess we'll find out in just a few short hours. It's very similar to why you picked the Giants to win yesterday.
Yeah,
It's that
absolutely.
fraudulent.
It's the exact same thing, honestly. The Vikings and the Cowboys, they're two peas in a pod, honestly, at this point. I'll break it down this way. Maybe it is because we're Eagles fans. Maybe it is because we've seen Dallas twice this year. The last time being where we watched Gardner Minshew throw for over 300 passing yards on them, right? Put up 34 points, 27 points, 27 points. The pick six from Dak, which that counts as points too, but that's not for the offense.
Right.
27 points from Gardner Minshew, over 300 passing yards.
And then how much versus Sam Howell?
Over 3 times.
And how much versus Sam Howell in week 18?
You'll have to refresh me with that.
High 20s for you. High 20s, and they only put up 6. Dak
26
six.
through the pick six. So what, 19 in that one?
Sure.
So yeah, these are where the concerns come from. I know everybody was hype about Dak and the way he played against the Eagles in that game, and had his best game of the season, but that's what it took to win a game against Gardner Minshew. You're going against the GOAT tonight. You're going against the Bucs that have won championship in the last few years.
Before we get into our best bets and our final predictions here, I want to go back to their fan base for a second. I have to. I can't stay away from it for too long. After Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in the first half and then responded with 4 touchdowns in the second half, and the Jags come back and beat the Chargers in that fashion, which we'll be breaking that game down on Wednesday with all the others. It'll be a lot of fun. But instead of being focused on your own team's playoff matchup within 30 hours from then, however long it was when this tweet was put out, Cowboys fans are tweeting out, why does Trevor Lawrence get all this praise for throwing 4 interceptions and fighting through adversity, but when Dak Prescott does it, he gets slandered and the Cowboys get put down and yada, 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 yada. So again, it starts with the players and Micah Parsons. It starts with their fan base. Worry about taking care of your own business, Dallas fans. And B, one is, I could be wrong, is Trevor Lawrence a second year or third year? I'd have to go back and check. I don't know why that's bugging me right now. But Trevor Lawrence is on a rookie contract with a way lesser talented team that won 3 or 4 games last year. Dak Prescott was paid $160 million with this group around him to go play big in these moments. And we welcome back Scotty. I don't know if you caught that, but what I was getting to, I know technical difficulties tonight.
I don't know with my laptop. I don't know what's going on with my laptop.
No, you're
freezes
good, man.
And then starts over. But I turned you up on my phone. I heard you.
Yeah. So that, just worry about your own damn business. It wasn't even the Giants game or Eagles related. You're worried instead of just watching a great football game as we did and said, wow, look what Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson just did. And look what Brandon Staley couldn't do. Instead of going with that, you had to find a way in your twisted mind, delusional mind, to relate it to your underwhelming quarterback play. Why? Why is that? That was your main takeaway from Trevor Lawrence's comeback. Well, when Dak throws interceptions and they still win the game, everybody puts down Dak. 160 mil, bro. He's supposed to win this game tonight. He's why they're favored. And guess what? If they lose, he's going to be the biggest reason why, Scotty.
Yeah. And it goes even further than that. Go out and win then. Go out and do that in the playoffs. Throw 4 picks tonight and win the game. And I promise you, nobody's going to have anything to say if the Cowboys break their losing streak to the Buccaneers and he has picks.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to say when Dak throws a pick 6, but they still
win
score
the game
35 and win the game. I got something to say when Dak throws 2 or 3 picks and they lose to a bad football team. Then I got something to say.
It's a pick 6.
Right. So they're like, all right, let's get into predictions. What do you see playing out tonight? You already know where I lean. I've laid out every possible outcome. You know where I see this going. Who do you got in tonight's game before we get to best bets?
Yeah, so I'm going with the Bucs in this one. You could probably see where that was trending throughout the show. There's 3 things that I'm looking at. Tom Brady versus Dak. Who do I trust more in this game? It's Tom Brady, right? He doesn't lead the league in interceptions. He played the whole season. Tom Brady, or not Tom Brady, but Tampa Bay offense using space, getting those Dallas defenders out in space and making them work. Get the ball in your star players' hands. It goes along with what you've been saying the whole time. Quick passes, right? Tom Brady has one of the quickest triggers in the NFL. Get that ball out as fast as you can. Get the ball in Mike Evans' hands. Get the ball in Chris Godwin's hands, so on and so forth. Rashad White, all the people that you have mentioned throughout this show. Get the ball in their hands so they can make plays early and efficient, right? Right? You don't have to go deep. You don't have to take long dropbacks against this Dallas defense. Get the ball out quick. And just run the offense that you've kind of been running all season. It's perfect against this Dallas defense in reality. And then the final thing, stop the run. If you stop Dallas's run like we've kind of been talking about, and it doesn't take much to do that. Hold them down maybe just the first half, and they will come out passing the ball nonstop in the second half. Force Dak to throw that ball 40-plus times. Not saying that guarantees you a win, but that is the best case scenario towards you getting a win. If Cowboys come out here and run the ball at will, they're going to win the game, right? So you have to stop the run, force the game to be won in Dak's hands. And ultimately, I think the Buccaneers can do that tonight, even as an 8-9 team. And it just speaks to how bad of choke artists the Dallas Cowboys really are for that to be the prediction here.
Yes, sir. I have 2 keys for you, one on each side of the ball, just like you laid out. Offensively, lull Dallas to sleep. Quick hitters, as you mentioned, get the ball out of Tom's hands quickly. They do it. He does it better than anyone ever has playing this game. You had the wide receiver matchups against some beat up cornerbacks for the Dallas Cowboys secondary. So lull them to sleep, and then you'll get your chances. Trevon Diggs will bite at some point on Mike Evans or Chris Godwin and take your chances there. Defensively, make Dak play a clean game. Perfectly clean. Make Dak Prescott not only beat you by stopping the run like you laid out, but make him play a clean game.
Yeah.
If he does that and they beat you and they're able to run the ball, tip your cap. I was wrong. You were wrong. The Bucs lose the game, right? Go home, move on next week. I don't foresee that happening. I think Dak turns the ball over tonight once or twice in a big way. I think that Tom is able to move the ball effectively, get the ball out quickly. I think Tom Brady moves to 8-0 all-time against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers move on to San Francisco next week in the divisional round. Scotty, let's get to our best bets of the night. As you can see here on your screen, very, very simple. If you are on DraftKings Sportsbook, Tom Brady over 1.5 passing touchdowns is boosted to plus 100. I believe it is a $50 max. At least it is for me. Could be higher for some, lower for some. Over 1.5 pass touchdowns from minus 130, 150 to plus 100 for Tom tonight. We also, if we like the Bucs to win and you're going to give me 3 free points, I'll take the 3 free points just in case as a safety net. Hopefully Bucs plus 3 is our next best bet. And then just for fun, why not? I believe it's coming. Dak Prescott over one plus interception tonight by Dak Prescott on the road in a playoff game. He led the league this season in that category. Brady, 2+ passing touchdowns. Bucs plus 3. Dak, 1+ INT tonight. Those are your bets for Turf Talk on this Monday night. Scotty, anything before we wrap up this episode?
No. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get
tonight.
to business, baby.
Hopefully the Bucs get this W and send the Cowboys home early. We'll move on to next week. We'll kick it back up on Wednesday and get to recap all of this. And
well, Scotty just froze out again. So with that being said, that is going to wrap up this Monday edition of NFL Turf Talk. We will be live back with you on Wednesday to recap this great Super Wild Card weekend. And then we will be back with you this weekend to get into all of the divisional round matchups. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM Media, have a great rest of your night. If you're an Eagles fan, go Bucs tonight. Enjoy and hit some bets.
One-on-one.